Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with War Thunder, and this is the P-40 Kittyhawk in a historical battle. We are playing this live, so please don't expect any miracles. I'm still pretty much a noob when it comes to this game. There's a lot I have to learn. I really feel like I need to spend several hours in each plane before I can really figure this title out. And I like that. I really do. It's not a complaint. It's a compliment to the game. The fact that it's challenging and really actually does maintain levels of historical accuracy, unlike some other game which likes to talk about historical accuracy and doesn't really keep to it. But this one actually seems to get the job done. You know, if the plane was good back in the day, then it's good in the game. If it was bad, then it's going to be bad. You know, it really just takes a fantastic pilot to make an otherwise hard to fly plane something to really talk about. But you know, this thing, to me, it flies like a bus. I'm terrible in it, but I want to be good in it. And that can be said for a lot of the American planes, which are known as boom and zoomers or energy fighters. And it's a classic plane. It's iconic. A lot of people love it. You know, a lot of people. I think there's a couple people also with it in here. But you know, I want to be good at energy fighting. I'm trying to learn it. It's just hard. You know, I find myself losing control of the plane more often than not, and you know, I think it's just all about my approach. I'm trying to grab the altitude. I'm trying to slow the plane down, drop the combat flaps, come in at the appropriate angle, and let the target have it. But it feels like my approach is just usually wrong. Maybe it's too steep. I'm coming in too fast. I don't know. There's so many little variables that you have to check for when doing this. And it takes a while to learn. And then when you get a new plane, it's like, well, time to learn this thing. And it can be frustrating, especially in historical, when you're taking all the time to fly from base into the objective, and then instantly, pop, somebody comes in from above, boom and zoom, you're done. They've sniped your pilot or they've hit your engine. It's just over in an instant. You know, there's no hit points or armor that's really going to save you. It's just done, you know, and I love that. I hope that never changes, but that doesn't stop it from being frustrating. So, you know, here we are. Again, we are playing this live, so we're going to see what happens. I generally don't do so well in historical battles. In arcade battles, I can usually land top 5 players, but in this, yeah, not so much. I'm lucky if I make it on the board, but we're going to see what happens here. Right now, I'm just looking for targets. I'm not rushing. I probably should load bombs for the objectives and then drop them if I feel that I don't need them. But I keep forgetting to do that. General rule of thumb seems to be take out the air threats before really engaging anything on the ground. So here we have 4 already that I can see, but I'm always worried about what's up there. You know, who's out of my sight line. And because usually I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down and get this guy, and there's 3 aircraft behind me, ready to just wreck me. And they're Russian, and that's usually like the worst thing about it. Can I find a game where Russian planes aren't considered overpowered, or Russian vehicles for that matter? Alright, so now, obviously, we have a couple things to choose from, and if I don't make, like right now, I have to make my approach. Combat flaps. Bring the speed down maybe a little bit. And kind of figure out who's going to be my target here. He's dead. Next candidate, perhaps. Slow down the plane a little bit more. Trying to line him up. I don't know, he might be dead by the time we get to him. And he's coming back around, it looks like. And he's dead too. Raising the flaps back up. Wep. Try again. So, if I'm to say what I did wrong there, Maybe I dropped my speed too much. Maybe I could have afforded to just keep the flaps raised and go for the target. I just don't feel that I'm that good yet. I don't feel that I can hit the target moving in at full speed yet. That's just not me right now. I'm still getting used to this game. These tactics. At the end of the day, I know that I'm better at turn fighting. I know that the British planes would probably be a better choice. But, like this guy, I'm telling you right now, too steep. Combat flaps. Can we turn into them? Pick up speed a little bit. But right now, you can see, I can't bring this thing down to the left enough. Here we are. We're trying to angle it properly. I've got the sight, but there's a couple of hits. Bring it around. Again, not really a... So at this point, I'm going to raise those flaps. I think my opportunity on him, I don't know. Could I continue to turn and maybe try to get him? Usually when I do that, I'm told by people, stop doing that. Don't chase. Don't chase in an American plane. You're not a turn fighter. Get that altitude back and try again. So that's pretty much what I'm working on here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You know, if you have the shot, take the shot. There, I felt like I just kept losing the shot. I didn't feel in absolute control of the craft, so I want to get to an altitude where I feel that I have that. I feel that I have the knowledge to a certain point, but I'm just not using it properly. I get the idea behind boom and zoom. I think I know when to deploy the flaps and when not to, you know, but I don't know. I think other people tend to say, well, you know, no, just keep them raised. You maintain that speed so you don't lose energy. Other people are like, drop the flaps, go into combat mode, slow the plane down, drop your throttle, and that way you have more control of the plane. Other people, I think professionals can keep it raised and maintain the speed and just hit the target. I feel like I can't do that. So I tend to try to slow the plane down. I don't know. So I think it's tough. Right now, I see that guy bailing. Will we be able to come... Let's see, what direction is he moving into? So if we look at him here. Combat flaps. He might roll or fly right under me to the point where I can't do anything about it. And he's done. So, nothing happening there. Just late to the party. Unfortunately, but that's, you know, historical battles for you and being an inexperienced player. Now, you know, should I spend more time in arcade battles? You could say yes, but it's just not the same thing. And I don't know if I'm really learning much by staying in arcade battles, because in arcade battles I actually do all right. Here, it's not so much. Now, if I hit tab, we want to see what we're dealing with. They've got one plane left. No, 2 planes left. Okay, well, you know, where are they at? I don't know. I know not to stay... I know not to be the solo plane. I know it's a bad idea to try to go hunt planes by yourself. I can try to deal with some ground targets. And, you know, put an end to this madness. Hostiles leaving the game. Do another check. So they still have got 2 planes. Now it's possible that they've gone back to base to rearm, repair, come at us again. I know that generally you want to surround yourself with friendlies or be around allied ground forces so that you don't get sniped out of the sky by somebody that manages to return. But right now I feel like, well, what do we have to deal with here? Medium tanks, nothing happening there. They're working on the ground targets. I can't deal with that. I could deal with armored cars. But as you can see, I know what's going to happen. If I put myself here attacking this armored car like so, okay, sure, I could do it. Yeah, could we do this all day? Sure, sure we could. But what's the logical thing that's going to happen for the enemy team now? All right, if they went back to base, if they're rearming and repairing, who's going to be the first target to come get? That's going to be me, because what? I'm low to the ground, and I'm closest to the base. That is, to me, the most logical thing there. So I'm a little worried about trying to attack ground targets when there's nobody around, you know? And as you can see, the armored cars are really the only thing I can deal with at this point in time. So I have to watch out for that.
Our base is under attack.
So the enemy is attacking the base. So have they gone all the way back to our spawn point? It's possible. We do have 3 aircraft on the way back. And, you know, well, I know it's going to take me a while to get back there. We've got medium tanks that I don't think I can deal with, and some more armored cars that I could mess with, I suppose.
I refuse.
I'm going to go after the armored cars and just gamble my plane and say, well, I might as well do something, right? Get some sort of points for this. Combat flaps, slow her down. This guy's coming in on a turn, though. Raise those flaps back up, maintain energy. Grab some altitude. I'm also having trouble flipping the planes properly to come back on the enemy. I feel that wasn't too bad, but combat flaps, drop the throttle. Zooming in a little bit seems to help. Little close there. I'd rather not take the chance and mess things up. Boom and zooming vehicles, you know, I seem to be alright at that, but when it's a plane, yeah, it's just not happening. Hey, you know, I'm just trying to get some points out of this game. Also taking a look at the sky, just making sure that nobody's going to sneak up on me. Because I'll tell you what, that happens more often than not. Now, there's a batch of AAA there, and, you know, going after AAA can be very risky. They're easy to take out, but, you know, that's a lot. And they would all be focusing on me, so... You know, I don't know if that's something I want to deal with. Maybe I could work on these armored cars instead. Let's take a look at the board. One plane left. It's just, we have no idea where he's at. For all we know, he could be back at base. I'm all by myself out here. You know, this could be one of those players that's deciding, you know, I'm gonna just pick people off one by one. I mean, that's a smart thing to do. It really is. So I'm really hesitant to want to take on those armored cars because I don't know where this guy's at. Now, he doesn't really have too many points under his belt. So we don't know that he's been doing anything to pose a threat, but, you know, I'm still a little worried. Got about 15 minutes of fuel left. I haven't really used too much ammo. I can come back on these armored cars, but, you know, I'd be bait at this point. And there's nobody in the sky, you know, waiting to protect me. I'm just an easy target. And everybody's going back to rearm. I think we've cleared our base. I don't want to go back just yet. So, you know, again, I'll gamble it. I might regret this, you know, because I don't know where this guy's at. He might just be waiting for somebody to make a stupid mistake. Now, again, you might be saying, well, you're dropping too much speed. You know, I could do this at full speed. But I'm not perfect. I mean, but again, I have to look at this like, well, there is an objective, and there are ground targets, and I do get points for it because I'm not hitting air targets. You know, I'm still doing a job. But as you can see there, a little close to that AAA. And I'll tell you, I've lost a wing to those suckers. I don't want to do it again. Looks like we have some friendlies coming back in. Keeping an eye up high, you know. So, I mean, if this was a plane, you know, I would just... Now, sure, my angles here right now are probably way too steep. I should, to do a proper strafing run, I want to have everything lined up and just strafe the whole column. But right now, I'm just paranoid about getting, you know, surprised by that last plane, and I just don't know where he's at. I think he's a bomber, so maybe I don't need to worry too much, but I've had some bad luck against those suckers. Again, just checking the sky, making sure. I mean, I've got the radar as well, I know, that I can use. Wow, that wasn't happening for some reason. He's like, I'm an up-armored car. Out of ammo there on that one. Guessing that's some... For some reason I couldn't take that car out, so we're going back to base. I don't know why. I mean, my aim is just bad. I know that's the truth. You don't have to tell me that. I know I'm bad at hitting things in a plane, but... hey, it's a learning process as well. I'm telling you, that armored car had more armor than the other guys. He cheated. He's like, I'm just gonna put some extra armor on this one. He gathered up the armored cars that I had destroyed. He gathered up their parts, and he's like, you know, I'm just gonna take this. Billy doesn't need this anymore. And just super glued everything to his. Not welded, he just super glued it. He used Gorilla Glue. So I don't know where that other plane is. Maybe I should just try to find him or something and be done with it. Or we could just deal with these objectives, but what could that guy be doing? I haven't seen him on the board at all. So these guys are high flying. So yeah, here we are, historical battles. Originally, when I first discovered War Thunder, I pretty much avoided historical battles because, one, at the time I was only trying to join a single server and it just took forever to get into a game. Now I've set it to join any server, and that helps a lot. Sometimes you get into like a Russian server and the ping is just terrible though. So there's that. What? I think there was just some friendly fire. according to the text below. But the other thing was that in historical battles, if you're filming it live, well, there's always the problem of having a boring game that's just not entertaining to the viewers. Like this game, okay, I might get some dislikes or some complaints about, well, you didn't do anything. You didn't kill any planes. All you did was shoot at some ground targets, and heck, you missed a couple of those. And now we're watching you fly back to base. And to some, this probably isn't very entertaining. To others, they're like, you know what, screw them. It's about the commentary and the fact that you're keeping us entertained. You're talking about the game. You're discussing relevant subjects. You know, you're discussing the thought process. You know, as a new player, you're still managing to say, hey, you know, this is... And that's what people tell me. I'm like, okay, well, thanks. But, you know, this is the first time I've filmed a full-on historical battle. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now, I've done historical battles in the live stream. People seem to love them. But for a video, you know, I don't know. Most you can do is say, hey, warning, this is not a guide. This is just a shared experience. And I think that that's a phrase that I've coined that I think people need to figure out, you know. Because there's a lot of people out there that play games for fun. I'm one of them. And there's a lot of people out there that like to upload those videos to YouTube. Generally, they're considered Let's Plays. And let's face it, at the end of the day, that's what this is. This is me playing a game and just trying to have some fun. So, with that said, you know, you have to look at these videos just like, look, this is some guy just having fun with his game and sharing the experience with you. He's not trying to make a guide. He's not doing a review. If it is that, you know, usually the only time I do that is really within World of Tanks. That's the only title where I can say that I'm experienced enough to make some sort of guide or review of a vehicle. So we're trying to slow things down here a bit. Landing flaps. I still feel like I'm coming in too fast, too steep. Yeah, like right now this is way too fast. But I'm lazy. I'm really, really lazy. You know. Can I do anything about this? I'll tell you what's probably going to happen. Is I'm probably going to end up on my nose. I think. Or I could just end up back in the air too. That tends to happen. But generally, I would say that this is one of those things where I end up on my nose. We'll see what happens. Slowing it down just a little bit there. And I think we're okay. Are we okay? Ooh, okay. Not the best landing on the planet, but I'll take it and get some extra experience for it. You know, going back to land, that still netted me 560 XP, and they finally got the enemy fighter, I think, and that was it. So whatever. Going back to base is not always a bad idea. Especially when you have no ammo and you're pretty much useless otherwise. You could kamikaze, but, well. Alright, so I wasn't the worst player on the team, at least, I guess. I'll still take the experience that I got out of that. And you do get a lot more in historical. So we did 7 ground targets. Heck, in real life, if you said you just killed 7 armored cars, that would be quite the feat, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, think about it. I destroyed 7 vehicles. Like, in real life, that would be like, wow. Or maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. I'm not a fighter pilot expert. I don't know what to them was a big deal, but in my opinion, that would be something. I don't know, I'm just trying to make myself feel better because I did absolutely nothing otherwise, and so yeah, but you know what, it's still fun. It's still a learning experience, and there's that. But done and done. We can see that I'm still working on some final components here. I could of course unlock them with golden eagles. I've got a lot. I bought some Steam packs when they were discounted for War Thunder's release. They were 25% off, so I got them. And I suppose, yeah, I could just unlock the stuff and be done with it. But, you know, I'm trying to think of what's going to be worth it. I really am. And yes, I know I'll probably get comments about this, that I should probably use stealth. But I went with the ground target ammunition because I still feel like I'm needing some tracer ammo in historical just to train up a little bit more. so I can get used to hitting targets. Then I think I'll eventually graduate to stealth. Plus, you know, it comes in handy dealing with the land threats. So I know about the stealth ammo. I know that I should probably also go in with some bombs and drop them if I don't need them. So I know that too. But yeah, also just working on my pilots, trying to get those skills squared away. The Golden Eagles are most likely going to go into crew training. That's the advice that I've taken from most people. So that's going to happen. And we are just kind of on our way to tier 7. But I'm not really in a hurry to get to the higher tiers. I think it's just going to be more difficult for me. So I'm kind of hanging out around tier 4, 5, 6. I think is a nice sweet spot for this game. Some good planes at those tiers. Definitely need to get out of tier 4 with the Germans because the HE planes, they're terrible. This one, I just got this one. This one's a little better. These are just junk. They really are. And this one's okay, but it's just not fast. I don't have fun in it. I want to get to the BF-109, so I need to get to tier 6. Not a fan of these things. I haven't even really unlocked them. I've just been told that they're terrible, and I just haven't bothered. The Stukas are a pain because they're pretty much bomb, try to get out of there, and hope to not die. It's usually dive, bomb, get killed. You become a giant slow target. I hear that... which one? I think the Ju-87D5 is actually decent because this one actually has some cannons on it. Some 20 millimeters. So it's going to have a little bit more firepower until, of course, I think this is the big boy, though. These ones here. What do they got? They got the 37 millimeters. You can just wreck everything with these. So yeah, those beasts. I can imagine those just causing havoc on anything, especially ground vehicles. But there's that. I do have the Air Cobra. I have both of them. And this 37 millimeter cannon that thing's got, oh my goodness, so much fun if you can actually hit the target. And that's my problem, hitting the target. But man, when you land that hit, it's just boop, one shot out of the air. I'm gonna boop your plane. Boop. That's pretty much what happens. And they're gone. Tears everything it touches apart. But just everything else about the plane is kind of rough. I mean, the handling is just like every other. It's a boom and zoomer. And just not good at that tactic yet. So I'm still learning. But we'll see. Will I ever get to a point where I can say, hey, I'm pretty alright at this game? I don't know. I just don't know. But again, I am still looking for ground forces. Forward to ground forces. I really am. Because Wargaming's starting to do some things with World of Tanks that I'm not a huge fan of. But we'll talk about that later. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to check me out on twitch.tv/SideStrafe. I live stream this game as well as World of Tanks on a regular basis. You can catch me there. Go ahead and follow. It'll send you an email notification to let you know when we are live. And it's a whole lot of fun. I've actually been having battles with the viewers in War Thunder. We've been setting up a private room and password protecting it. I sent out the password in the stream. Everybody joins, and it's first come, first serve, and we've had a lot of fun, actually, and we've had a lot of laughs. It's been great. So if you're not on the live stream, you might be missing out. I know my schedule doesn't always work with everyone else's around the world, but I do what I can, so my apologies. You can, of course, also check out the VOD and watch the shenanigans. But again, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you on the next one.